Very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's uLaw webinar. The topic for today's webinar is the unsung heroes. The webinar is not accredited for any CPD credits, but it's certainly going to be a way for us to walk you through some of the new features and functionalities within the dashboard, the contacts, Quickview, and calendar, and how these features surround and extend the core capabilities of the legal accounting and practice management software that uLaw is. So for anyone who's using the product today and for anyone who's just looking to explore the purchase of legal accounting practice management system, hopefully this drives home the important pieces of functionalities that you can benefit from. Please do use the chat windows at all time to ask any questions that you may have. Because this is a non-CPD, and to have a little bit more freedom to go out of script, if you will. It's going to definitely be a lot of demonstration and walking you through those features that you may know, things that you may not know about the platform as well. Okay. There's just going to be these four main agendas or aspects of the uLaw platform that we're going to focus on. If time permitting, I'll also share with you some of the newer, cooler features that we have within the platform that you may have or may not have seen. But starting with the dashboard, which is really our landing page within the platform that allows you to quickly and easily navigate to a certain section or a certain client or a certain contact. We're going to talk about some of the newer features within the dashboard and how best you can personalize the dashboard for your own firm's needs. Moving into contacts, kind of doing a deeper dive. Predominantly the contacts menu option, if you will, is used within uLaw to intake clients, but we've certainly upped our game post-COVID to help our clients do the non-touch intake of information, and I will showcase to you how we do that with the new client portal feature functionality. The Quickview, which originally started off as a fast, easy way for you to search information, which is pretty much what it is used for today, also serves the purpose for some very interesting information as well as insights that we're able to now share with you thanks to some of the, I wouldn't say big data capabilities, but really data mining capabilities that we've built into the platform. And last but not the least, the calendar. Kind of going through how it works hand in glove with the matter and how you're easily able to set up appointments, transfer calendar invitations to your uLaw app, and how that can easily transfer over to your phone. So we'll talk about the calendar. And as you can see, really talk about how these features overhaul your overall uLaw experience. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to really try and skip this part of the presentation slide or keep it pretty straightforward and fast because I really want to get into the product and walk you through this as I speak. Of course, with everything in uLaw, we've evolved with time. We've been in business for over 11 years, serving thousands of customers, and everything that we build into the product, a good majority of it comes from client feedback because we take that very seriously. Of course, we do our own R&D for what's important for our clients, but a good portion of the features and functionalities that have evolved in the platform are thanks to our clients' feedback. Okay, there's something that can be slightly done better, or if there's a certain issue in how they've done things and need to be accommodated within our platform. Yeah, so we really a big shout out to all our customers. But the dashboard, in essence, was initially envisioned as a quick, easy, fast way for you as a legal practitioner to maneuver, or I say navigate within the platform. Okay, whether you need to, it was a long weekend and you need to come back after the long weekend and you really want to get into the last, I would say, few matters that you're working on, the most recent contacts that you just intake into the client or into the matters, into our database, or if it's having a quick glimpse of all those matters for which you've done the effort, but have not yet generated invoices so that you can make your money, there's an element for that. So I'll walk you through how best you can personalize the dashboard and how it has evolved to be a little bit more interactive beyond just navigation and maneuverability. It allows you to actually take some important actions. Contacts originally evolved as a simple, fast way for you to intake your client, and then evolved to a point where you start to add contacts of various different avatars within your legal business. Contacts could be clients, contacts could be vendors, contacts could be other parties that are involved within your matter or file. So if you have a representing a plaintiff, then a defendant is another party. You are now able to store that information, and we not only use that information for conflict searches, we also use the same set of information to help you fill out court forms, and we're slowly evolving the court forms. We have a lot of areas of practices that we fill out court forms in the province of Ontario, but we've just started the path of building them for British Columbia, and in our roadmap we have BC and Alberta as the next two provinces for whom we want to fill out court forms, which would be a huge impact in reducing, again, the amount of time that you spend in doing a particular task. Okay? In the essence of all of these features and functionalities, as I talk about them, what you want to take home is they were purpose-built to help reduce the time that you take in doing certain tasks and allows you to focus more on the actual matter or file that you're working on. Quickview, again, first of all, as a fast and easy way for you to search for information. So you have thousands of matters over a period of time, and you need to have a better sense for the different categories of matters that they're in. You're now able to classify matters as, active, opened, or closed, open, and archived. And this reduces time one more time. It reduces the amount of time that you spend in searching for information, which was one of the top reasons for time spent in a legal office. Today, with quick search, you're now not only able to search for matter related, but you can just do a free text search for anything that you're looking to gain access to. Okay? And we'll also talk about some interesting reports that we've added, and that's a new evolution to the Quickview that allows you to have a better control and gain more insight into your actual files and the information that you have in the system. And last but not the least, the calendar, where hopefully within the course of the next few weeks and months, if you will, I wouldn't say months, few weeks, we're hoping to make an overall of the calendar, the web interface of the calendar, making a nice user interface uplift so that it's more Web 3, if you will. But what we've done as an evolution, it started off as a fast and easy way for you, of course, to manage your time, to manage not only your docketed time, your work time, but uLaw's calendar allows you to manage your own personal time as well. So you could set up recurring meetings for, let's say, 2 to 3 p.m. on Fridays for CPD sessions with uLaw or webinars with uLaw, for example. This could be your yoga lessons. This could be your visit to the gym, when that happens, of course, or to your basement for that. So whatever that you have in your personal life going, uLaw allows you to combine personal time and work time and the effort, allows you to quickly search for non-personal work time as well. So if you're just looking for time based out of your docket, you can look at that. And there's also a fast and easy way for you to sometimes docket. So you can click on a date or time and essentially just docket right from the calendar once you have a file created without even going into the file. So it's turning out to be sometimes fast and easy way for you to actually docket your time and effort as well. In a legal office setup where there are multiple individuals that are collaborating, you could have color coding mechanisms that allow you to get a quick glimpse of availabilities based on color code, right? Allows you to now synchronize the web view of the calendar with our uLaw mobile app. So click of a button, you should be able to go into our uLaw app. So whatever you put into the web version of it pretty much syncs with our mobile app as well. So download the mobile app if you haven't. It's available free of charge both on Android as well as iOS devices. Just search and type uLaw, and there's a calendar function built right into the app that pretty much synchronizes and mirrors what you see and do within the web version. So we have today legal offices where you could have the assistant working out of the web version, booking appointments for the lawyer or the main legal practitioner, and the practitioner pretty much carries a mobile app that automatically synchronizes their time and events, not only within the uLaw app, it goes one step further to synchronize it with your own individual device's calendar as well. Once again, not rocket science. It's become pretty cliched and standard feature that you should expect, and we're just living up to that expectation. Okay. So these really are the four major components of today's webinar. Of course, the devil is in the details, so let's take a deeper dive into looking at these four important functionalities or menu options, however you like to call them, that really extend and support the importance and the core capability of legal accounting and practice management. Okay? All right, so let me jump right from my slide share into my demonstration. And again, this gives me an opportunity to introduce you to uLaw if you don't know who we are. We're a Canadian company. We're based out of Ottawa, and we've been serving the legal community across Canada, across all provinces, from a perspective of providing cloud-based legal accounting and practice management software that allows you to stay compliant, efficient, and of course, be able to save time and money to put into better use to improve your business. Okay? And of course, we're one of the most cost-effective platforms available for you to explore. And last but not the least, we're priced in Canadian. I was thinking there was 4 C's here. I was really missing out on the 4th C. So I'm logged in really into my uLaw platform. I'm logged in as a fictitious legal practitioner, Roger Moore. Before I dive into the dashboard and talk about the different aspects, I wouldn't call it necessarily as a component that's associated with the dashboard, but a rather new feature in the platform that you've noticed is this bell icon that you see on the bottom right. Let me annotate real quick. You may have seen this because sometimes, depending on time and your mood, this could be a bit of an irritant, right? By default, it's set to on because we want you to know that it exists, but you can always turn it off. And once it's on, it takes maybe a few seconds before uLaw is starting to generate very insightful details about your business and starts to provide them as these little cards that pop up on the bottom right, and then they just grow. And you can always turn them on and turn them off depending on, as I said, your timing and your mood and how much you're looking for these details. Okay? And the reason I share that is along with all of these 4 or 5 feet, you can see it started to go. The engine started to go, and you can do a deeper dive if you like. You could say, I got it, get rid of a card, and that's pretty much it. Or if you're not happy, and if you think it's intrusive in nature, you can always turn it off for a later time. The dashboard is pretty much the first menu option in the platform, okay, and is what we call as a landing page. As soon as you log in, that's the first page that shows up. But it doesn't have to be. It always is because we've set it up that way. But if you go into the details, actually it's general. So if you go to the first tab, General, you would notice that the default view, this is where you, for each of your different users who use the platform, can have your own personalized landing page. Let's call it the default view. I'm calling it landing page. It's potatoes. Now, when does that change happen? It happens when you sign out and the next time that you sign in. So every time you sign in, the first time, this is the default view or landing page that shows up. Okay, so Roger Moore has set it up to be dashboard, and hence, as soon as I've logged in, it is dashboard. It is, right? Now, what is this dashboard? We've got 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 squares, if I were to imagine myself, and maybe a couple of rectangles here. You can see there's some information that we're showing you. Each of these pieces of information are kind of purpose-built for a reason, like anything else. It's not just available there for random access. We often found that legal practitioners get busy on specific weekdays, especially after a long weekend. There's sometimes scampering to dive right into a specific client or matter because that's the first phone call that they receive, or it's something that they're working on. So the most recently modified contacts and the recently modified matters, these two dashboard elements, as we call them, were built so that you can quickly navigate, maneuver, or move into that specific item. If I click on Sundar Mulligan's contact, you're going to notice that it has moved into the contacts menu option, but it's taken you right into Sundar's information. Right? Pretty straightforward. Not sure if you knew that existed. If you wanted to understand Sundar's information, let me take another example. Okay. If there's any financials that you needed to see about a specific contact, and this is a rather new feature in the platform, something that you should explore and maximize the use of. If there's something brand new about a contact, like Naveen Desai, and if you click on this little contact card, you're going to see there's really not much information, right? This is client information based on the matters that you've dealt with, but when I clicked on Jerry Fishborn, you noticed that there's actually an invoice that you've generated and has been paid. There's zero balance. Interestingly, you've got almost $1,130 in trust funds. That leaves your overall trust balance at $745. And maybe there was a retainer paid out of trust, and hence the trust balance is reduced at $384. And there's no pending trust transfer, and there's no balance owed. You can click this little icon further, and it takes you right into the matter analytics. So if you did have any trust transfers pending, you can go ahead and do the trust transfer even without getting into the matter. So here we are. We're looking at various different contacts for their basic information. So you've got their cell phone, basic information, and the most recent client intake contact shows up right at the top. Okay. Let me go back here. And where did that come from? It's the same contact card that you probably noticed right here. We'll get into this in a second when we look at contacts. Just want to draw your attention to, let's see, I do Emma Brown. Let's get into this matter. Just want to walk you through something that's really cool from here. So we're going to look at HM 310396, and this is how these features are intertwined. So if I go into Quickview, I can essentially search up, the client's name, because I kind of know it's Henry. And you can see the client's information, all the Henrys right here. There's that line item. I can click on the title. I can go right into the matter. Okay, so you can see there's a trust receipt, $1,000. There's about $561. Let me go ahead and say second meeting. I'm going to put in an hour's worth of work, and this is how you see it all evolves, and it's interrelated. You can see that the status of this matter right now is invoice pending, and I want to quickly introduce you to another dashboard element. I know I'm kind of going slightly off tangent, but if you notice that this particular first dashboard element called invoice pending matters just upped by another item. Previously, you probably didn't see the possession of drugs. That's the matter's name, but that just went up with that information. And what this really means is there's actually an invoice that's pending under 30 days. And if you click on that little line item, it takes you right into the matter. So if you want to do some deeper dive, dig into this matter to learn about it more, you can review it. What we've done is we've upped the game within our dashboard. This is something you were unable to do just even a few weeks before. If you notice this little red icon, if I click on it, it allows me to actually generate an invoice without even going into the matter. Okay, so if you're confident of the work put in, you don't even have to go to the matter. Otherwise, you would have had to go into the matter, clicked on invoice, right? And then generated the same pop-up to generate the invoice. Rather, we've now grouped it right within the context and the simplicity of the dashboard for you to be able to do it. Because you know that there's a pending matter that needs an invoice to be generated, and you can do it right from here. Click on that red button. So let me go ahead and skip the preview, and I'm going to go ahead and invoice this client. So behind the scene, right from the screen in front dashboard, uLaw now generates the matter. It knows the matter. It knows the information, the amount, and you can go ahead and generate that invoice. And you're going to notice when this page refreshes after the invoice is generated. Let me close out of here. I'm going to go back to the dashboard. I'm going to see the possession of drug line item disappear because you've taken care of that. Yeah. Now, if I come into Henry McClister's information, you notice that there's actually a red item called pending trust transfer, and there's an action that you can take right away. So when you see the pending trust transfer, you pretty much know that there's an action you can take. And you can click on the status, and even without going into the matter, you can go right from invoicing to trust transfer. So I did not even go into Henry McClister's matter, and I know I'm repeating this and kind of just saying it again and again, but I'm excited because otherwise I would have had to go in each of those matters and do these same tasks. But this has changed, and I believe it's a welcome change. I could go ahead and just simply do the transfer and be done with. And behind the scenes, you can be very confident of the compliance aspect to it. If I were to generate my trust transfer, again, this was not a webinar where I wanted to bring in accounting and compliance and yada, yada, yada. But given the theme of things, I wanted to say how these features kind of pretty much surround and extend and complement the core capabilities. Here's how we've actually shown you and how it's done. And you can see one of the first line items is Henry McClister, the $452 worth of transfer that you've done, leaving your balance at $109. So from the dashboard to a compliance document, that's the continuity and the relationship that we're looking to establish. Okay? So invoice pending matter, something new that I've introduced you to, allows you to stay on top of all the matters for whom you've done the work and you have to generate an invoice. And you can do it right from the comfort of the dashboard without even moving into the matter. Recently modified contacts allows you to navigate to the contact itself. Let's say they've given you some additional information, like Richard Brown just gave you his contact number, click on it, and edit the contact, add the information, save it. Or you could use the little contact card to learn a little bit more about not just a single matter, and even if there are multiple matters, and the statuses in a single screen. So now the dashboard pretty much is becoming a very, very effective landing page. Now the same thing about modified matters. This was the most recently modified matter. If you remember, we worked on possession of drugs, so I can click on it, go right into the matter, or I can learn more about the matter. So these are what we call as matter analytics that gives you insight at any time. So if you look at the different analytical items in this particular pop-up window, you've got what was the deposit in trust, what was the withdrawal from trust, how much of balance is left. Without even moving into the matter, you're able to view this, all this information right from the dashboard. Okay? You can draw more insights, or if you really need to get into the matter, you can click on it, jump right into the matter itself. So the top three elements, and then we've got something, a bit of a side hustle, if you will. If you're looking for news, if you don't have to go out anywhere, you can configure the own set of news items that you like to, and we pretty much crawl the web to get you that information. So if I put in COVID Ontario, here's some of the top news around that. Yeah. Now each legal firm is very different in the use of their dashboard elements, depending on the nature of the business that you work on, the type of setup you have with the different professionals that are working for you. We have this concept of upcoming events. Every time a docket or a certain event has been entered into the system, it automatically shows up here. So this is typically in a setup where if it's a growing legal firm and if you have an assistant, as lawyers and legal practitioners docket and put their time in, this shows up right away, and the assistant or the front office personnel can take action right away. And there's two types of events. One is a billable event and then a non-billable event within the uLaw platform. And depending on the nature itself, when I click on this little arrow against the telephone conversation that we had between Robert and Dina, it pretty much shows that task. If there's any specific billable items to do in that task, it allows you to enter it. If not, it allows you to just save it because it's a task done, as you can see. Now, it doesn't end here. So if I go into my settings, and if I go into my dashboard, this is one of the configurable menu options within the platform, and it's available in settings. And you can see you can personalize the whole experience. You can make this black, aqua, and you can decide the range of events and the date range in which you want to display this. If you want to really stay on top of your game, you want the most recent information. So when we talk about recently modified contacts, the question is how recent? You can determine that. Now in our analytical, this was another webinar that I had conducted maybe a few weeks earlier. And in this particular webinar, we spoke about how you can manage the use of analytics. you can now decide how many such elements you need right from the dashboard. If you could just give me 1 second, I'm just going to let a few friends into the webinar. And I'm back. So you could say I want 6 elements or 4 or 2, whatever is your convenience. Also, you can decide if you want to have up to a maximum of 6 dashboard items. So let's say you wanted another news item, and let's say you wanted COVID Canada. And you can rearrange this. You can make this as the news item. Of course, for a day like today, I really want to understand what the heck's happening with the weather in Canada. I don't know if you noticed, but it was snowing for a bit. That was a bit scary. But so you can really change up as much as you want within, of course, the limitations of these 6 items. And we're actually adding to this. And the reason why we started this, again, imagine it as a framework, and we're continuing to invest and add to this framework. Okay? Don't like that? Let's move into something else. Let's say hot blue. Now, a lot of legal firms may change the color based on their overall brand guidelines. There's a certain color that their website's on, overall color that they have. They can change up this coloring scheme based on that need. But now you see there are symmetrical 6 dashboard elements, and you've got 3 news. There you go, special weather statement, right? COVID Ontario, COVID Canada. Of course, you click on it, it takes you to that news item. Easy peasy. That's everything that I want to kind of walk you through. What else do we have in our dashboard? If you click this down, you pretty much know all the other items. So you've got recently modified contacts, matter, events, upcoming events. If you sign up for tasks, we could pretty much know, let's say 2 weeks out, you've scheduled a certain work to be done. Upcoming events would bring all of that up. Upcoming to-dos is essentially all the tasks or the dockets that you've put in with a certain time range, any specific task that you want to set up yourself for, almost like notes or ticket, you can have that. And we've got the invoice spending matters and the news. Once again, I know I've taken maybe 10 minutes to walk you through the dashboard aspect. Faster, easier way to actually get work done, more than just navigating to a specific point. That's the evolution of uLaw's dashboard today. So please do utilize it, clicking on the red buttons and what we call as the contact card to learn and take actions. And same thing with the matters. So these are the 3 elements where you would see this additional aspect to it. Okay? Now, often people ask, why do we have the QR codes? Well, there was a point in time where it was easier for people to scan this onto their phones. But after we developed the uLaw app, that's just become a easier aspect to how you can input information into your phone, and hence people don't use this as much. Alrighty, so from the dashboard, I move into contacts. Okay? There are a few aspects of contacts that are often, I wouldn't say not used, but mostly underestimated for its purposes. And I'll start with the group. Not sure how many of you who are actual users of the platform actually utilize the group to manage and maintain their contacts across various categories. When you first start off with uLaw platform, with the platform itself, you would notice that we give you, I believe up till the witnesses, these different groups. Then people can go in and add their own set of groups. right from web leads and down. And these are groups that our clients have created, because this is a demo site, just to learn more about it. I actually like the whole concept of the group. It allows me to categorize contacts, as I mentioned, of various different sources and various different roles that these contacts play within a legal firm. Okay, so very straightforward. New group, I would say Facebook clients. So it's almost a one-to-many. So a specific contact can be part of multiple groups. You've got the one-to-many relationship. So that the group and the categorization gives more color and depth to the information surrounding that contact. It's almost like tags. I'm sure we've all heard of tags in today's day and context. So really imagine the groups pretty much being tags for a contact. So let me say I create a new contact, the old school way, the traditional way. I say add new contact. I have the ability to add them to my clients, and if I do so, of course, I can create a matter and those fun stuff. Or I can go ahead and create them. Under my Facebook clients, I could say Monroe Kim. Okay. So let's say that's all the information I have. I can save it right away so that I can always click on the Facebook clients if I wanted to and really review all the clients that came out of it. Now I talked about the one-to-many. So let me choose, let's say I have, and this pretty much goes along with your marketing initiatives, goes along with the source of contact concept. Let me pick and choose from my dashboard a more recent contact or client. Let's say it was this person here, Naveen Desai. It was a client portal contact. So I'm just going to click on that person. Now, if you see this button group under Naveen Desai, and you see that this person is under the clients group, I can actually click on Facebook clients, and you can see it's saving the contact. Now, it's not duplicating it, so I don't want you to think that the system is not duplicating the data. What it's doing essentially is it's tagging that same contact in two different ways. So you can search up Naveen Desai, or if I go into my Facebook clients, it tells you you've got Monroe Kim and Naveen Desai as two contacts who essentially have come from the Facebook aspect. And you can see the difference right by looking at it. If I click on Naveen Desai, the reason that he has this button matter turned on is because he's also part of the clients group. Right, if you go further down, you can see he is now part of two groups. You can delete him from the clients group and the Facebook clients group. And the reason why he is able to see the matter button is because he's part of the clients group. But if I click on Monroe Kim, I've not added Monroe as part of my clients group. this client is just part of the Facebook clients group, but in uLaw, they're not part of the client group yet. So the only way you can, let's say Monroe Kim was just a ghost client and was just flirting with the idea of becoming a client, clicked on your Facebook ad, and then a few weeks later, they show up at your office or give you a call, and then you actually take further information about them, and they become a client. You can just click on group, and then say add to clients. You can see it's saving contact. You don't even have to do the whole client intake again. In doing this, uLaw creates the special privileges that a client gets in the uLaw platform, and you can see automatically the Matter button appears. You can now edit this information, take further information if you like. And click Save. That's the power of the group. So you can manage a single contact across multiple groups and, of course, use your own reason of why those groups and how best you can use that to get information at a glance. Okay. Another aspect of the group is, of course, we have our mobile app. You can see the contacts in our mobile app, and you can quickly do a client intake right on the phone. You can search up that information, any information you want about the contacts right here in the search. So whatever you type, it's free text. There's multiple Naveens. If I typed in John, probably no surprise, you're going to find a few Johns in our database. And you can see quite a few Johns, names that sound like John, whether it's middle name, last name. Okay. And within the contacts, and you can see there's a special button for adding a new client. So if you're just looking to add a new client, you don't even now have to go into add new contact, add them to clients. You just say add new client, and you should be able to, because that's a very specific purpose, what you're looking to do. And you can always discard changes if you really didn't mean to do that. So creating groups, being able to search for contact information, pretty straightforward. And the ability for you to add a contact within different groups, pretty straightforward. What's rather new in this particular screen, of course, is this client portal. Okay. Now, post-COVID, one of the features or functionalities that were requested, or something that we had looked for, is the ability for our clients to get into this concept of a client portal. That's another new realm of features that we're building, starting with the client intake. A secure, fast, and easy way for you to get information from a third party or an outside personnel outside of the uLaw system. You can keep in mind that security is very important because you don't want people to hack into the system, because that really destroys the sanity of the data that you have within the platform. So what we've done is right under settings, under contacts, you have this new concept called client portal integration. And if you want this, and it's free of charge, we're not charging you for this, all part of the platform, you just choose the portal. But when you do that, we request that you provide a separate, strong secret key, which is numeric or alphanumeric. And the stronger this key is, the stronger your external link to be sent to the client gets. Okay? So this is not the same as the password that you logged in with into the uLaw platform. I've got a very special secret key, cannot be guessed, unless you know the numbering system from 1 to 8. And I'm going to now use the client portal, and the first piece of information that's most important and it's mandatory, which the red line showcases to you, is an email. I'm going to say that, I'm going with the context here or pretext that when someone is interested in working or wanting your service as a legal firm, the first things you ask for is some contact information. And let's say they give you your email saying, hey, send me some information. So the first thing you'd send out is this client intake form. So it's important that you put in your secret key and generate what we call as a portal link. Now you can create the QR code or just select and copy this link, or you can send this QR code. And you've seen people do it at restaurants and many different places. You scan it, it goes right into the actual link. You can either send your client the QR code, or you can send them this link. So you could say, here is a client intake template that I have. And I can just send this to the client. Of course, this is something that's coming down the pipe in uLaw, where we now integrate the ability for you to email right from the platform. Definitely look forward to that, and I'm very excited when that feature is ready. So we send this to the client, let's say, okay? And as you can see, I've been testing. And let's say this is myself. I received this email from Roger Moore's firm. It says client intake mail. Please find below our client intake form for your reference, right? So kindly request to fill it and submit it. The client could use your mobile app or their mobile device, or it could be using a laptop or a computer or whatever, and actually click on it. You can see it's got the English and French. So I'm going to say, some basic information. Whatever is mandatory is marked in a star asterisk. Okay. Of course, if this is a corporate matter, then you might want to fill out these details, work details and address. Let's say this is a criminal matter, DUI. We'll discuss more over Zoom. Let's say Facebook. So this is something you're asking the client. How did you know about the legal firm, Facebook? What type of an ID are you willing to show? Give it to us. So you could maybe passport. And then it's important that the client enters the same email that they had provided us with, because now that gives us to validate that this is not some random person sending this. And in addition, you ask them to authorize your firm, and this is very personalized. So this would change for every legal client that we have based on the information they've provided us in our settings. And our very own friendly neighborhood CAPTCHA, very important in today's web context, because an empty minus Devil's Playground, COVID, a lot of people wanting to do all the wrong things. So we really want to safeguard the web interface. And I'm going to hit submit. This is a very important component where uLaw is now able to validate some basic information so that it's not some random numbers. Okay? So all that the client has to do is provide their information, and submit that information. And clearly you have a message which says, thank you for your time. Your legal firm would be in touch with you soon. Okay. As soon as that submission is done, what happens to you? How do you even know that something's happened? You get notified via email. So uLaw sends you right away, just like how we send you an email when a matter is created, when an invoice is generated, many different tasks. We notify you as soon as someone has submitted. And this is very cool because now if you have this form and you just send this out to a client, you can be notified as and when they do it. You don't have to be following up with them. They have all the basic information. Kimberly Johansson submitted the information. This is her number, the email. All right. Now if I go into my dashboard, we'll just give it a couple of seconds here. You could see under recently modified contacts, you have Kimberly Johansson's information automatically show up in a very secure manner in your own uLaw platform. You didn't even have to do the client intake, the traditional way of doing add new contact, all that. We've essentially pretty much given that responsibility back to the client to do on your behalf and automated the intake of that through some checks and balances right at the web page so that you get some quality data in. Okay. So I can now click on Kimberly Johansson, do some basic checks. Again, the platform as it evolves is going to walk you through many more features and functionalities for automated conflict searches and things of that nature. But before wishes become horses, I'll bring you back to the ground level. You still have to do your manual conflict searches today. You do your conflict check. Right, let's do all that. And then you can now go ahead with your regular process of sending them your retainer letter, creating a matter, etc., etc. And you can see within the context of the contacts, you have certain notifications, client referral kind of being your top source of referral. Let me just turn it off. And when I click on the little scorecard or contact card, this is a new information that we're providing you based on compliance and based on how much of information you need to have about any detail, contact, matter, etc. We're able to give you a score of what's missing within that client information. So no work address, maybe it's not relevant, no mailing address, no fax number. So maybe for the context of this client, this is enough information, or maybe there's more that you can provide. But this is all the information you need. So the new addition to the contacts family is the client portal, and do visit the groups and search to maximize the use of the features within the contacts menu option. I'm going to skip the whole part of document generation, things of that nature, simply because that's part of a different matter, webinar. That we have looked at these different reports and documents. Okay. If I click on that little question mark, there's more information. Again, I covered this in my previous webinar on analytics and insights. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. think you've heard of this a million times. I really wanted to say this many times. So please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get notified every time we have a new video on. Now I move on with another, I apologize, 4 minutes, eh? All right, the quick view is fast and easy. It's really what it's spelled out to say. So just like how we searched up any information, you could search up Henry. Let's say this is you're looking for all slip and fall matters that you worked on. You can just say slip. It's pretty much going to bring all matters with the title slip and fall on it. Even if you have a numbering system from another product, you can bring that in as part of the description, and we can search up for that as well. And if you know the file number, you can put that in as well. So pretty much search up for any information you know about that matter to bring it in. Of course, within the matters, we also allow you to categorize them as active, closed, and archived. So depending on the nature of the search, this is related to whether it's an active matter, closed matter, or archived matter. Again, saving you time, and by default, only showcasing active matters. So if you've done the work for a matter and it's really closed, we highly encourage you to go into the matter and then mark this matter as closed so that you're reducing the amount of time and search on matters. Okay, you can always change them to active. So I can easily just mark this as closed, but if I wanted to reopen this matter, we're not going to charge you for it. You just come in here and say active. That's it. And I welcome you to utilize again, this was covered in my previous analytics and insights, but one of my favorite report is the Amuse Me Analytics. So feel free to use this in your own platform, your own uLaw instance, so we can amuse you with some pretty intriguing data points. Last but not the least, the calendar. And you've noticed, if you look at the matter that we worked on for Henry, as soon as we docketed that second meeting, it showed up here in the calendar automatically. But as I mentioned to you, I could say uLaw webinar. I click on the date. And I can add more information if I like. I can change the statuses. If it's not related to a matter, I'm going to not check this box. I'm just going to say it's 1 hour. Starting at 2 p.m. There you have it. You have multiple calendar items, one for 2 to 3, and the other one specific. And if that's misleading or confusing, you can just go in and say, hide the time dockets. If you really want to only see your personal time, you can just hide the time dockets. And there's some other filters that you could have. If you're a growing legal firm and if you have other individuals part of that calendar system, you can actually have up to 5 additional legal practitioners, 5 additional assistants, and color code them in our settings. Different colors for different roles. So for example, if I did third meeting, but this time let's say this was done by the L2 in the company, not only does it affect the billing, also affects the calendar color code. Okay? So let me quickly show you the calendar now. And what's cool about the calendar is if you do have our uLaw app, which I again welcome you and encourage you to download free of charge, whatever information that you're putting here on the web will automatically get synced up there. And of course, you can use the mobile app too to add to your calendar, and that would automatically sync back here to the web version of it. Okay? So let me show the time dockets. Now you see that the third meeting is in a different color. It's in black. If I click on it, I learn more about it. So I could have a monthly view, weekly, daily agenda day. And with just a few more minutes remaining, we have this last new feature within our calendar, which is called the scratch pad for daily dockets. Let me I click on this little arrow and I say scratch pad. Now, this is a screen that was purpose-built for legal offices that sometimes need different docketing elements to be entered into the system all in one place. And this is a very busy screen. So let's say today at about 1 o'clock you had a Zoom meeting, initial client discussion, and you can start the timer if you like, pause, move on to others, or just put in the billable time. You can say take action, or you can move on to another one. You can continue to keep time of all the work that you've done. So maybe this was a half-hour session. So like that, it's almost like your little notepad or scratch pad that you have of all the work that you've been doing today. And then at the end of the day, so you come, you close, you do some other work, you come back here, and there it's still there. Unless you use the clear all daily dockets, so you do that on a daily basis, so really pretty much use it as your scratch pad. But what happens after that? You don't like it, you can just delete this item. But at the end of the day, once you've done all the little scratch padding, if you like, you can go in and say, add new event. And this is where we say, okay, this was an item that you've docketed. Now tell us to which matter is this relevant to. If I say Kimberly, actually, I'll say Henry McClister, session of drugs, and save it. And you can do this for every docket that's available, and at the end of the day closure, we automatically, even without again going into the matter, you're able to docket in bulk from this one screen. So if you need proof, we can go back into the matter. And you notice this third meeting showing up. So you can do that specific bulk docketing right from the scratch pad, daily dockets. Okay? And at the end of the day, you can clear this and start fresh the next day. So that was the last more recent feature that we've added under Scratchpad because it's part of your time management that allows you to docket in bulk across multiple matters. When you don't know what you've been doing, you're writing it down, but you're reconciling for which docket was which at the end of the day. You can use Scratchpad for daily dockets instead of moving into the specific matter. All right, so that's everything I wanted to cover. So you can see that's the 12-minute Zoom meeting earlier today. Okay. So that's everything I wanted to showcase to you as part of these 4 important menu options in uLaw, right from dashboard, contacts, quick view, and calendar. And I apologize for taking maybe an extra couple of minutes here.